Well, again, welcome and thank you for being here. You know, thank you for your business. With your business, we were able to have another exceptional year. Now, together, we had to navigate some change this year, didn't we? We had some things that came up, markets that went against us for the most part in agriculture. We always have weather, and we had weather again this year. And global demand has certainly been difficult. And certainly exports out of the U.S. has been difficult this year. But with all of that, with your help and the help of our management team that worked to realign our company and to work better, more efficiently, we had demonstrated the value of the cooperative system. In a few months, you're going to see this in a more tangible way. We're going to pass back we intend to pass back $600 million of cash returns. That's both in patronage and equity redemptions. That's the third highest in our CHS history, and I think a testament to the strength of our owners' support and the strength of this CHS system. Over the course of 10 years, we passed back $3.5 billion. $3.5 billion of cash to you, to our owners, to use in your operations, to use in your co-ops, in your farms, and in your communities. Certainly, it takes a co-op to share that kind of profit. It takes CHS to do that. You know, we all go further when we go together. If you were watching the videos, you heard that as one of the phrases in one of the videos. And working together, that is the foundation of all of our co-ops that are represented in this room. That's how we started. A group got together, said, let's do something together. And it certainly is the foundation for CHS. Our purpose even clarifies that even farther. Creating connections to empower agriculture. That's how we operate. It connects the farmer, me as a farmer, to this global marketplace, connecting suppliers all over the world through the cooperative system back to my farm and to your farms. Now, our board is pretty proud and excited of the investments we've made around the world, our global investments. They're very important because they allow us to be in front of those customers and those suppliers around the world year-round, so we can have that touch. This is extremely important to us as American farmers and American co-ops. Now, the board also still approves a lot of investments in the U.S., a large amount of investments, and we will continue down that. You may have heard about some of those today in some of these education sessions that you were at. Tomorrow, Jay and Olivia will describe that more in their reports. And the board has continued to be proud of those kinds of investments, ways that we can be more efficient, more effective in the supply line. The board is also focusing on that in governance. We continue to look for these improvements, these small steps that we can take to be better, to continue to be transparent and continue to be accountable, making sure that we are positioned for the future, for decades, for the next generation. Now, last year, this body approved 2 bylaw amendments that helped us with that. The first one had to deal with director representation and to match the director representation that we have with the changing demographics of this body, the members that we have. And you're going to see that tomorrow in action and during the caucuses, where we'll elect a new director in Region 7, the second director. The second bylaw amendments had to do with managing equity. And we talked to you about the challenges that we have with growing equity on our balance sheet and not being able to redeem it fast enough. And we made some decisions this year to use those tools that you gave us last year. So this summer at our owners forums, we told you that for 2024, so that's the year that we're currently reporting on right now, that we were going to hold back 10% of our patronage income and place that into the unallocated reserve. And then we also told you at the same time for the year 2025, which is the year that we're in, that we'll report on next year at the annual meeting, that we would hold back 35%. Now, that shouldn't come as a surprise. We talked to you about this over the course of the last 2 years, and we told you we needed to do something, and we are using those tools to make sure that we move forward. Again, though, those tools, that decision will be made by the Board of Directors every year. We'll look at what we have in front of us. We'll look at the cash that we have, the uses, and what is in the best interest of CHS, and we will make those decisions every year. The board also looks to improve the governance by making sure that we can hear your voice and providing opportunities for you to raise your voice and help guide this company. So during the summer, we have owners forums, and we always try to provide you a way of joining us by a virtual owners forum. And we did that again this year. Long time now, we've been providing the opportunity of absentee voting. And we're going to add this year electronic voting. It's a secure and it's a real-time way to collect your votes. And we're going to get to try that here just shortly. We're going to vote on some community service grants for the foundation where you'll use the system to vote on these grants. It's the same system that you use tomorrow during the caucuses for the election. And then if we have any kind of a vote during the business meeting, same system you use there. So you get some comfort around that. Last year also we added in the ranked choice voting. So if you were voting by absentee ballot, you could rank choice your votes for candidates so you can continue to participate in that election as it unfolds. Now, Tracy Jones chairs our governance committee. And this committee has done some great work to systematically put in place some best practice and move this company forward with governance. But I would challenge you that it's not just the committee's work or the board's work to hear your voice, but it's all of our choice to make our voices heard. We have to speak up. So I'd ask you to think about 3 questions. First of all, how can CHS help you succeed? Secondly, how can you help CHS be prepared for the future? And lastly, how can CHS and this entire cooperative system always be the first choice? Always the first choice. What I can promise you from the Board of Directors is that we will listen. We will really listen to what you're thinking to help guide us to the future. We do that because we all believe we will go further if we go together. I want to recognize the board. We have 17 individual board members. They come into the boardroom with 17 professional approaches and challenge us and make us think in a higher level, but they come together as one board, one CHS board. So I'd like to recognize them. I'm going to say your name, each of you, if you could stand up, please, and at the end, then we'll recognize them. David Beckman. CJ Blue is back in the back. Hal Clemenson. Scott Cordes. John Erickson. Mark Farrell. Steve Friddle. Al Holm. David Johnsrud. Tracy Jones. Russ Kale, he might be in the back. Tony Rosman. Jared Stroh. Kevin Traynor. Courtney Wagner. I must have missed David Kaiser. Did I miss anybody else? All right. Please join me in thanking our CHS Board of Directors. So earlier I reminded you of our purpose, which is creating connections to empower agriculture. And this is an extremely important statement for us. It is our driving force. It's how we operate, how we add value. So you might ask, well, how do you create connections? How do you add value? And one of the ways that we can do that is with assets. Assets are strategically placed around the world. So think about things like the refineries and crushing facilities, ethanol plants, import facilities, export facilities that we have that allow us to operate around the world and help create those connections. And it allows us to get our inputs that we need when we need them, deliver our grain where we need them around the world. All of those are important. In the end, they're just tools. Creating connections is a people business. It's between people. That's how we create connections. And we have 10,000 employees around the world doing that every day, using those great assets that we have to create those connections, to bring that value back to us. So, probably like many of you, I had a lot of time behind a wheel of a combine or a tractor, had time to think about what a great cooperative system we really have and the opportunities that we have as part of this CHS and cooperative system. I'm always amazed at the depth and the breadth of CHS and what we do. It allows me as a farmer in Iowa to be connected to suppliers and customers all around the world, orchestrated by CHS. So when my grain leaves my farm, it just doesn't stop there. My connections don't end. They continue on, and I'm linked to that the whole way around the world. So you think about the grain that I just harvested. I'll harvest that. I've harvested it. I'll move it to Davenport CHS facility. They'll load that on a barge, and they'll move that down south to Myrtle Grove. And at Myrtle Grove, they'll load it on a ship. And then they'll take that ship and they'll deliver it around the world to Latin America, Taiwan, South Korea. Some of my corn goes to ethanol plants, probably some of yours also. We have 2 ethanol plants in Illinois. We'll retake that and make ethanol that we blend with gasoline, and we sell that all over in our retail locations. They're called the Cenex stores all over the country. Soybeans like yours and mine might end up in Fairmont or Mankato, our crushing facilities, where we take that soybean and we crush it into oils and into flour and into meal. The soy oil may go to our Ventura Foods joint venture. Now this is a very important joint venture for us, where then they take that and they make salad dressings and mayonnaise and sauces. A lot of that is served at many of your favorite restaurants. The soybeans meal may also be used for hog diets, or that may go down also to Myrtle Grove, where it's delivered into Central America and to Asia. Farmers like me in North Dakota, South Dakota, all the way over to the Pacific, they may take their wheat by train over to the Pacific to one of our Temco facilities. That's another joint venture of ours, very important joint venture, where they load it onto a ship for us, and then that may go to customers in the Middle East and into Asia. Co-op farmers like me in Kansas and in Oklahoma, they might take their wheat and their sorghum and take that south on a train to Temco facility that we have in Houston. They'll load it onto a ship. They'll take that to China, Mexico, South America, North Africa. Or that wheat might go to Arden Mills, another joint venture of ours, where they'll make it into flour and other baking ingredients and ship that all over the country. Because we're part of this cooperative system, we're connected to a world of inputs also. Fertilizer, Fertilizer may come from all over the world that I use on my farm. It might come from Canada, it might come from the US, or it might come from the Middle East. Put on a ship, move to Galveston, Texas, our import facility for fertilizer. Put on a train or a barge, and then moved up through this cooperative system to my farm and to your farm. The seed and the crop protection products are the same, sourced from all over the world, brought through the system to my farm, chosen by my agronomist for my fields, for my soils, for my goals. You may be using crop protection and adjuvants that were developed by CHS, and they were worked on at our CHS R&D facilities. And then they were tested across hundreds of test plots across the country. All of this takes diesel and propane. It needs energy to fuel us. Our CHS refineries in Montana and Kansas, they source from their crude oil from Canada and from the US, make diesel fuel, put that through pipes and terminals and trucks and trains to you, to use on your farms. The lubricants that we use may be blended at one of our blending plants in Minnesota or Texas and brought to you for your farms to keep your equipment running. You know, this system here is incredibly complex. It's incredibly complex, but it works incredibly well. It works incredibly well because of the co-op. But you know, it takes a co-op. It takes a co-op laser focused on the producer to make this work. It takes a board of directors that's committed to a global system to build a global connections. It takes co-ops like they're represented in this room working together to build value for our owners. CHS is committed to this. We're committed to working with you, to work closer with you, to find ways to be more effective, more efficient, more transparent, and bring value back to our producers. We do this, and we're focused on this because we believe we all go further when we go together. That is the beauty of this cooperative system. You know, and it takes a co-op to do that, to understand the needs of our owners like that, to think long-term, but deliver value every day. It takes a co-op that can look at global reach and match that with local expertise to find new ways of shared success. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS. We do all go further when we go together. Thank you.